Hello, ladies. This is another episode of Dear Younger Mom. So I am sitting on, at my kitchen counter, wishing you were just seated around it so that we could have a candid conversation. Of course, this is a programming where we are intentional about nurturing our children in the nature of God. Today, I want to talk to us, really just encourage our hearts. And I want to speak especially to those that have teenagers, I want to say that it can be challenging because it's a developmental stage where they're grappling with a lot. We were all teenagers at some point, okay? The thing about it is that sometimes we forget we were teenagers. So recently, and this has happened a couple of times, where maybe my husband or myself will lament about, something about one of our kids. So recently, my husband was saying something about one of our kids, and I was like, and when you were their age, what were you doing? Okay. And we laughed about it, but really, I think as parents, sometimes we have what I like to call selective amnesia, where we tend to forget all the shenanigans of our teenage years and, young adults, ages, some of the things that we express such outrage at, which comes across to the child as being really judgmental because sometimes, they do something and we come off like, how could you? And these are things that we probably did, or maybe we even did worse than that, I tell you. I don't even want to recount to you some of the things that I got away with, that till date my parents don't know of. I remember one time actually, oh, should I tell you this? I took off from school and went, I was schooling in the eastern Nigeria and went to the north to go visit my aunt and the family. And I did not tell my parents. And I took a night bus. That was so risky. That was so unsafe, and I just took off. Luckily, nothing happened and I came back safely. Now the kids, we can track them wherever they are. In my home, all of us, know where anybody is at any point in time, because, you can track the person with, all the devices and all the technology that we have now. So there are things that so many of us got away with that the kids these days cannot even get away with. Okay, there are things we were up to. Oh, no, don't look at me like that. You know yourself. Don't let me come tell your kids about some of the things that you were up to. Okay, we did some things too. Okay, we were faced with some things. You were once a teenager. You had a crush on someone. You wanted to go for an event, that perhaps you thought your parents would not allow you to go to. You wanted to wear something that you thought they would, they would disapprove of. There are things, there are times that you felt like they weren't being fair. There's just so many things, What I just want to say to us is that it's not very helpful being critical of them. Overly critical, I would say, because a lot of times we as parents, we come off as being judgmental. I will tell you, one of my kids recently said to us, I feel judged, and that hit me because sometimes we come across as being very sanctimonious. We come across as being, very judgmental. Okay. Sometimes the way we express disapproval or outrage at maybe a decision that they took, or an action that they took, or just even some idea that they expressed, is almost like a holier than thou attitude that we have. Come on. So I just want to encourage us. What they need is empathy. Sometimes, what they need is to know that you've been where they are right now, you know what it feels like, and that you get them. I want to read you the scripture to us, since, we are believers and Christ is our model. So Hebrews 4:15 says, for we do not have a high priest who is unable to empathize with our weaknesses, but we have one who has been tempted in every way, just as we are, yet he did not sin. Okay, I want to insert myself there. I want my children to be able to say, for we do not have a mom who is unable to empathize with our situations. And the issue is that for some of those situations, I may not have made the right choice either. Okay. But I think the critical thing for them to know is that you've been there, that you can feel them. Let's go to the definition of empathy. Where did I have that? I felt like I pulled it up somewhere. Okay. What does it mean to empathize? Well, to empathize really means to kind of the ability to take on somebody else's perspective, to understand how they're feeling in a situation. So that's what, empathy means, to understand, to feel. So that's what we want to communicate to our children, teenage or otherwise. You want them to know, I feel you. I've been your age before. I've been there and I get you. That is more helpful. That way you can create that bond. Think about it. They didn't do well in an exam. Share with them an experience where maybe you didn't do well in an exam too because you did not read for it, or, you read, but, something happened and you just couldn't remember. Share with them so that they can see, I've been there, I understand you. That's what they need. And that creates, that open door for you then to be able to give them counsel. When we come off as critical, as being judgmental, it shuts down anything you're saying to them. They will not be open to it. But what we want to do is to create connection before correction. Well, I hope this has blessed you, because I've been thinking about it myself, and it's something I'm still working on. And I'm just inviting you to work on it with me. And let's see how that works out with our children. You are so blessed.